Back in March 2020, I unboxed 4 huge boxes of Commodore VIC-20 things. There were so many things in those boxes, I had to make part 1 and part 2 videos. If you love Commodore VIC-20 and you haven't seen those videos, check out the link in the description below, you'll enjoy it. 2 of the things I got from that unboxing was these 2 Commodore VIC-1540 disk drives. These were, of course, the predecessor to the Commodore 1541 disk drive. And they're far more rare than the 1541, which is quite common. And that's because most Commodore VIC-20 owners use data sets rather than disk drives, partially because most of the Commodore VIC-20 games were very small in size and many games could fit on one tape. So most people had data sets. And if you had a Commodore VIC-20 in the heyday, no doubt you would agree you had a data set rather than a disk drive because they were very expensive. For example, here in New Zealand, a data set for your Commodore VIC-20 would set you back about $99. But the 1540 would have set you back $1,295. Now that's a lot of money back in 1982. This makes the 1540 quite rare, or at least in comparison with the 1541 anyway. But one of these 2 Commodore VIC-1540 disk drives is even more special than the other. Both are very collectible, but one is quite special. Externally, they are the same, but it's what's in the inside that makes one more rare than the other. So let's have a look. At first glance, they even look identical internally, and that's because they are, apart from this one ROM chip here. The machine on the left is its original configuration for a VIC-1540 disk drive. This is what you would have used originally when you had a Commodore VIC-20, and if you could afford one of these disk drives, this is the format you would have used it in, because it has the original ROM chip, the 325303. When the Commodore 64 was released, the VIC-1540 disk drive didn't work with the Commodore 64. It wasn't compatible. In particular, it wasn't compatible with the VIC-2 chip of the Commodore 64. To fix the problem, VIC-20 owners, if they were going to upgrade to the Commodore 64, could go out and buy a brand new 1541 disk drive. But again, that would have set you back another $1,295 here in New Zealand. And most young gamers in 1982-83, well, they couldn't afford to fork out another $1,295. So luckily, Commodore allowed the Commodore VIC-1540 to be upgraded to make it compatible with the Commodore 64. They sold individually ROM chips that could fix the problem. Now this makes sense too, because when I did the unboxing video, amongst all those boxes I found these. This is the ROM chip that was used to upgrade the VIC-1540 to be a 1541 in principle, to make it compatible with the Commodore 64. This of course was the most cheapest option, and it appears that over time most VIC-1540 owners did just that. They upgraded their disk drive to be compatible with the Commodore 64 as they upgraded machines. Now as a result, the Commodore VIC-1540 with the original ROM chip is now quite rare. Luckily for me, the owner of these 2 disk drives, they obviously upgraded one of them here on the right. We can see that's got the MOS 901229, which made it, as I mentioned, compatible with the Commodore 64. So he obviously upgraded one of his disk drives, got another chip to upgrade the second disk drive, but never got around to it. Now I'm really glad he didn't, because now I've got one of each. The upgraded version to be compatible with the Commodore 64 here on the right, and the original configuration here on the left. Well, I hope you found this very short video to be interesting to some degree. I must admit, I really need to clean out these 2 disk drives. It's quite embarrassing I've left them to be in such a bad condition, but that's definitely my next project. Well, one of my next projects is to get these cleaned up.